Come on, Stephanie's parents and Amy's parents. We know you're out there. All right, here we go.
Okay. Welcome to Season 5, Episode 4 of Over the Ledge Live, the podcast, the #1, and some say only, political satire show based solely on the Texas legislature. I'm Amy Lowry, and I'm glad you're here. Over the Ledge gives you a behind-the-scenes look at the shenanigans of the Texas legislature by decoding political headlines and legislators' behavior into easy-to-understand Magic 8-Ball predictions. Let's meet our guest tonight. First up, we have our beloved house comedian, Aaron Salinas. Aaron is a writer, actor, and director who loves to share a laugh with folks almost as much as he loves to share a meal with them. Please welcome Aaron to the show.
Yay!
Hello. I do want to mention that I took a look at our guest as soon as he said shenanigans of the Texas Ledge, and they nodded. So I think we're going to have a good show.
Our next comedic guest tonight is Patrick Gallagher. Patrick is an Austin-based comedian who has performed on stages and screens from San Francisco to New York and was a founding member of the Austin Fun Blog Comedy Writing Group. Please welcome Patrick to the show.
Hey, y'all. Hey, everybody.
Hey, thanks for being here. You got a great background. Is that real?
It is. It's my wife's office, actually, though.
It's a beautiful lamp.
I know. I don't really feel at home in here, but that's what it is.
Is that a little meditation pillow in the corner? I'm a big fan of
I
your
know.
wife.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know how to zoom in on that, but nice.
It's probably for
Yeah.
the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you need it, just let me know. Virtually, I can get it to you one way.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Appreciate that.
Our very special celebrity guest is Samantha Singelton with the Border Network for Human Rights. Samantha is the policy director at the Border Network for Human Rights. She directs and guides legislative work on the federal, state, and local levels. After her son was brutalized by local law enforcement, she decided to seek avenues that reflect changes in the city of El Paso. Her passion for change has charged her to actively aid the push for positive legislation that protects the rights of all humans and actively confronts the systemic racism. Please welcome Samantha to the show. Welcome.
Hi, everybody. Thank
Hi.
you for having me.
Thank you. And
Thanks for
she's
being here.
very brave because it was a cold outreach. I saw her name as a witness on SB4, and then I looked her up, and then I just reached out, and I was pretty persistent because I wanted her for this week. And she showed up, so
Yes.
winning. We're
Are
winning.
you saying it was a yes out of fear? Is that like
You
okay,
hassled
fine.
her.
I'll do it.
Oh. Finally, we have the creator and the ruler of the Over the Ledge Empire who needs no introduction.
Who?
Stephanie, our Taylor Swift Eras Tour Halloween costumes were lit. Chiarello.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Please. I'm really glad to be here. I think we're going to have a great show. Thanks, everybody.
Just a reminder, if you like what you're listening to and you're in a position to help, please become a patron at whatever level is meaningful to you. It helps us produce the podcast and promote our efforts. Freedom isn't free. It costs $1.05. Or in our case, $5 a month would be super helpful. Now it's time for What's Up in Texas with our host, Stephanie Chiarello.
Thank you, Amy. A lot is up in Texas, and it's not morale. Governor Abbott is pushing hard to pass school vouchers while Speaker of the House Dade Phelan plays it coy. When Abbott passed a note asking, "Do you like using public money to pay for private schools? Yes or no?" Phelan responded, "You know who loves privates? Your mom."
Okay.
Governor Abbott traveled to Israel recently
Oh,
to show that Texas supports Israel. However, his message was undercut slightly by his appointment of the new Texas ambassador to Israel, Nick Fuentes. Don't worry, I will tell you who Nick Fuentes is in the next joke if you don't know already. Do you want me to talk about privates again? Because that landed. I liked that. Thank you, Amy K. Texas Defend Liberty PAC, which recently made the controversial decision to host white supremacist Nick Fuentes, has endorsed Texas House candidate Brent Money. Brent Money is currently a lawyer from Greenville, Texas, and not, as I had assumed from his name, the villain from a 1980s comedy.
I like that one too.
I
That's
do too.
good.
That's exactly how he'd laugh.
I really thought it was an Austin Powers villain, like a fail, just made the cutting room table. Just
More of a James Spader type, I was imagining.
yeah, there we go.
Oh. The Senate approved a $1.5 billion proposal for Governor Abbott to continue building a barrier along the border of Mexico. These funds would also pay for state troopers to have a presence in Colony Ridge, a Houston suburb that the far-right publications have called, quote, a magnet for undocumented immigrants. It's a magnet, huh? I guess that explains why the issue is so polarizing.
You brought in an 8th grade science joke.
That was well done.
Thank you. The Department of Public Safety Director Steve McCraw said during a House committee meeting that Abbott's concerns that Colony Ridge is a no-go zone and too dangerous for law enforcement officers are inaccurate. He went on to clarify that the only scary thing about the Houston suburbs is the Karens. How's our
Now
guest?
make one about the
Still with
no-go
us?
zone.
Yeah, no go. Rep. Armando Wally, a Democrat from Houston, can be seen in a video losing his shit on the House floor when Republican members made an unprecedented move to limit debate on an anti-immigrant bill. Mayflower descendants are aghast that he cursed and want him punished by burning at the stake. We're more worried that he called these Republican member friends and want him in therapy. Attorney General Ken Paxton's securities fraud trial has been set for April 15th. He's pleading not guilty to 2 counts of securities fraud and 1 count of failing to register with state security regulators, both of which are felonies. But sources close to the AG says Paxton isn't worried. You know those reverse Uno cards? Yeah, well, he has one and he's prepared to use it.
And I mean, he hid from the feds. It's not like he's guilty. I mean, come on. It was just a mistake that he
No,
made a few times.
we really should be more forgiving, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe he
There's
just
nothing
didn't
about-
know the laws. Maybe he just didn't know.
Right.
Yeah,
He's
when
our
they
top
got him, he was
lawyer
like,
and just-
"Did I do that?"
We should assume good intentions, I think is what we're all agreeing
Always assume
here,
positive
right?
intent.
Exactly.
Yeah. Paxton sued the Biden administration last week because Border Patrol agents were cutting away concertina wires, entangling people. The Biden administration responded, won't Paxton want an easy way out when he flees Texas for securities fraud?
Came back with it. I like it.
Okay. 3 more. Stay with me. Catholic schools in Texas are pulling for the school voucher bill to pass, and Republicans are welcoming their support. One prominent Republican celebrated Catholic schools for, quote, teaching students how to think for themselves and not just obey orders from some woke guy in a dress. All right. So Greg
I like
Abbott's
that.
voucher system, it's
Oh,
really
I
quite
get it.
simple.
Well, sorry.
Go on. Take it, Aaron.
Some could argue Jesus was woke. Is that, and he wore robes? Is that
If you have to explain it,
okay?
That's how you know it's
the rest
good.
of us got it.
That's how you know it's a good joke.
I haven't eaten dinner. Stop it. Okay. I'm a
Eat some
little
dinner.
off my game.
Have a snack.
So Greg Abbott's voucher system is really quite simple. You send your kid to whatever school you want. You get a bill for tuition. You pay the bill. You take a copy of the receipt. Then you mail that to Best Buy, and you're going to get 50% off a flat screen TV. Who's with me?
Yeah, that would be okay.
I feel like I should write that down.
Yeah. Okay. Don't forget early voting ends tomorrow with Election Day Tuesday for constitutional amendments that include nearly $13 billion in infrastructure spending for water, parks, and broadband. If that sounds like a lot of money, just remember, if we don't spend it on this, our Looney Tunes governor will spend it on a giant anvil suspended over the border.
Mhm.
And that's what's up in Texas.
All right. So that happened again. That keeps happening over and over again, just like special sessions. I got one. I got to check this out.
That was good. That was good.
Okay, audience, let me tell you how this podcast works. On tonight's episode, Aaron and Patrick are competing against each other for the coveted Most Knowledgeable Comedian in Austin Award. This award is given to the comedian who knows the most about Texas politics, according to the outcome of the games on our show. Stephanie, show the award. Aha. Whoever wins gets bragging rights and their photo on social media. Wow, a phallic bowling trophy. This is why we need patrons so we can offer a real prize. Now it's time to play our first game. And one of our favorite games. Sorry.
Oh, she's so emotional.
Tweets or twasn't. And I'm glad you just hold on to tweets. It's not as fun with X's.
Wait, can you hold on to the trophy while she says tweets and twasn'ts?
Tweets and twasn'ts. Sounds better than like X's
Right.
and
So.
or something.
I just needed inspiration. That was awesome. Thank you.
You got it? You got it?
Yeah.
All right.
This is a fine marble based made in Italy.
That's what I was just thinking.
Let's see. All right. Those members of the Texas legislature sure think they're funny and sometimes just plain stupid or mean. You must figure out, of the quote Stephanie reads, is it a real tweet from someone or twasn't? Was it a real tweet or twasn't? It was just something Stephanie made up, and she has gotten really good at it. So be careful. And contestants, you each have 3 phone a friends total between the two the games. And yes, your phone a friend is Samantha. Now is the time. You should give Samantha lots and lots of compliments, so she will help you win. All right, let's play. Stephanie, take it away. I'm
I want
keeping
to give
score.
them an opportunity to give the compliments. Patrick.
Samantha,
Oh, yes.
I love your glasses. You have a lovely smile, and I love your little artwork back there. Big fan of pegboards myself as well. So.
That didn't sound very sincere. Is all I'm just. That's good. I don't even know what you're asking. I was just like captivated by your presence there. But anyway, sorry. I'll focus on the game now. Just
Okay,
kidding.
Patrick, you get to go first, and I am pulling out of this bag if I need to give you a tweet or a twasn't, so that
All
it's more fair than what I've done in the past.
It's almost like somebody complained about it not being fair for the longest time.
It is. It's almost as if they thought I was setting them up, but I have many ways to set them up.
Yeah. That's where you're
Okay,
wrong,
so-
Stephanie. I have anxiety. I feel like I'm always being set up.
Wow.
Aaron, you hide it so well, but I'm here for you.
So
He literally does. I can't even see him.
I
It's all
know.
on the inside, y'all.
So
Okay,
make
this
sure
is
a comic.
for you.
Okay.
Patrick, see if it twas or twasn't a tweet. This is Tony Tinderholt to Jeff Leach. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but the sound of your voice makes me want to vomit. Is that a tweet or twasn't it?
Man, I would so much like to think that it was a twasn't, but I have so little. I'm going to have to say that was a tweet. I'm going tweet.
You know what? I think it's a true feeling, but it twasn't.
Oh,
I
that's
made that-
actually good. I'm glad on that one.
Okay. All
Maybe
right.
there's a floor. Maybe there is a floor.
No.
Because otherwise, that's something a lawmaker said. So,
That's from the other game from last week. Okay. So it's that. Don't worry. I'm an adult and I've done adult things.
it's really
Okay,
pretty.
here we
loud,
go.
too,
Okay.
Stephanie.
Okay. Aaron,
Uh-huh.
this is from Trey Martinez Fisher. I know math is hard, but you don't get to blame House Democrats for a lack of quorum when 20 Republicans were not present on the House floor. Hashtag Texas Ledge. And this is regarding the lack of a quorum on the House floor for the last few days, if you did not know that.
She acts like I know what that word means, like it would have made a difference. That felt sassy, like something the Texas Democrats would say. So I'm gonna say it's an X.
I
He
do
means a
not
tweet.
accept that. You have to.
I'm gonna say that it's a tweet.
You're right. It was a tweet from the chairman of the Texas House Democratic Caucus.
Context clues. That's what the tax test taught me. Not much else, but it taught me context clues.
So there are 86 Republicans and 64 Democrats, and they needed 100 on the floor, and they could not get 100. And so Republicans were blaming Democrats, and they could practically be there without us.
Where
Okay.
were they?
Patrick.
It's home.
Yeah, they're just sick of it. It's the third special session. Normally, they're just there for 5 months. They all have day jobs, families, Halloween. Some people drive 12 hours. She's laughing about Halloween. It is very important, Miss Singleton. I'm sorry, I shouldn't talk that way to a guest. Yeah, but they're just regular people, and they're sick of it. And they drive 12 hours, and they don't do anything. Right? It's
A lot of them
burden.
don't want the vouchers anyway, and they don't want to be pinned on it. Yeah.
I think if they really wanted it, Phelan would have called people back,
Mhm.
right? And they would have come. So
I mean, it would just completely obliterate all of everything that's not in a large city. So for public school funding. So
Mhm.
I think it genuinely scares them if you're out like in the sticks or out in the boonies.
yeah. Well, there's not private school out there to take care of you.
Yeah.
Okay. Patrick,
Yes.
this is regarding vouchers. Dan Patrick from Dan Patrick. Tragedy or comedy? Tragedy. Speaker Dade Phelan and the Texas House have just wasted another special session with no action on the legislative priorities of the governor, the Senate, and the majority of Texas voters. Comedy. Speaker Phelan's pattern: waste time to the very last minute and then blame everyone else for his inability to run the House and get a bill out of committee to the floor for an up or down vote so the voters know where the members really stand on these important issues. Tweet or twasn't.
That sounded like that was from Hamilton there for a minute.
That's the delivery.
Do
A
it
lot of
again,
characters.
more feeling. All right.
Tragedy. Okay.
Godly. I'm going to phone my friend.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wait, never mind. I'm not. Never mind. I saw that look on her face. Never mind. Just kidding. We're in this. I have total confidence in you.
You know, I didn't see the tweet, but that doesn't mean it wasn't one. It sounds like he would say it. So I'm going to go with tweet.
All right. I'm going to follow the advice of my friend and say tweet.
Smart man. That was a tweet from Dan Patrick.
Yay.
Yeah. Good job, Danny.
Yeah. He feels
Okay.
What's his
good
real
about
name
that one.
again?
Gobe.
Danny Gobe, right?
Danny Gobe. Yeah. And it's not Patrick. It's, I don't know, Dorcas face. I'll have to look it up.
You showed him, Stephanie.
Yeah, I did. You know he listens to this
That's going to really
podcast.
make him rethink his position on a lot of stuff right there.
That's right.
He just slammed his fist on the desk.
Stephanie.
God damn it.
Okay.
He just fell off his treadmill in anger.
He's
I'm
got
not
a
a
sassy walk
doofus.
too.
I'm a human being.
Like,
Okay,
what's hard
Aaron.
to do here?
Uh-huh.
This is Briscoe King.
Oh,
Jesus.
I don't care
Cool,
about
no.
baseball. I don't care about the Rangers. The only thing we should focus on is being good Christians and suing Biden. Tweet.
He is from Houston, right?
Fuck yes, that is exactly right. I'm just kidding. Sorry.
I'm only thinking he's from Houston, so he might not care that the Rangers made it.
he's from
I mean, really, who
Texas.
does care that the Rangers made it? I always forget they're a team. And they were playing the Diamondbacks. Like, I forget Arizona has a baseball team. Okay, now I'm just complaining to complain. I am my father's son. I'm gonna say tweet because it sounds like he's not really relevant, and he was just like, I'm just trying. No. Yeah, I'll say a tweet.
It wasn't. It sounds like him because I'm that good, but he didn't tweet that.
Yeah.
Do you really want to be known for having a Briscoe Cane impersonate? Like, do you like?
Do you want to be known for where he's actually from, Aaron? I don't know.
You did-
Honestly, fair.
No.
Fair.
Okay, that's an awkward silence. Patrick, are you ready?
Yes, I am. That was
Okay.
awkward. I know. Now I feel exposed. That's all right. I'm ready.
Okay, this should be self-explanatory. I don't think you need what it's in regards to. This is from Mays Middleton. Let's use old wind turbine blades to help build the wall. It'll be the only time you see the left oppose recycling.
I like that a lot. I think twasn't though. That sounds like too much.
I hate to disappoint you, but it was.
Son of a
Wow.
bitch.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, and I actually think that's a great idea. Let's build that around his house. They're really tall and you can't climb. You know, they're really slippery.
They're huge.
They are huge.
You're getting really good at this, Stephanie. That was like,
Mhm.
That does make me feel good.
This is not important, but there is a Broadway show called Shucked. It's about corn, and the main character's name is Maze. And I just love that we had that. That's what it reminded me. I was like, oh my god, isn't that from Shucked? But yeah, again, wish I knew useful information, but no.
I say 'twasn't. That is not a real show. You made it up for the joke.
It won a bunch of Tonys. It was. I'm
His
dying
name
to
was
see it.
Maze. Okay, now Aaron, it's your turn.
Uh-huh.
Okay, this is Jeff Leach. I like my coffee fresh, just like my World Series championships. Hashtag went and took it.
Again, who cares? It's the Rangers. It's like,
Aaron, you're gonna get some hate mail for
I
that.
know. I found that a little bit arousing, if we're being totally honest.
the
There
only
could
thing they're
be
really
one or
known
two
for-
Rangers fans.
Go ahead. The only thing Rangers fans are known for is cocaine in the 80s. Well, I mean, that's just baseball. But like, not a whole heck of a lot was going on for the Rangers.
I did see an article that said the Rangers are the only baseball team that didn't host a Pride night.
Oh,
The only one.
Yeah.
Well, I am
Dang.
no longer rooting for them. I was sort of.
see, and that's why I never liked them. Not just because who cares. And
Wait, aren't they're not? They're from Dallas, and they didn't
Yeah.
order. They didn't do
They're
it.
from Arlington. Hold
Oh,
on.
that's
My
different.
hometown, Arlington.
Well, and they're all George W. and Nolan Ryan and all those guys.
Yeah. Okay, we've really lost. half
I'm
of
gonna
the-
I'm
say
sad. Now I'm
tweet.
sad.
It feels random enough that they wanted to. So tweet.
You're right. That was a tweet.
Okay, look out, Patrick. Aaron is pulling ahead 2-1.
2-1, and that was 3 apiece, wasn't
That
it?
was 3 apiece.
Okay. Well, I had more, but it's time for game 2. Thank you,
Son of a
everyone.
bitch. Son of a bitch. All right.
All right. Samantha Singelton joins us from the Border Network for Human Rights. The Border Network for Human Rights, BNHR, based in El Paso, Texas, is one of the leading immigration reform and human rights advocacy organizations in the United States. Lots of opponents of asylum seekers say people should become citizens the normal way. Do you think you could be a citizen? Let's find out. We're going to take the civics, history, and government questions for the naturalization test. Let's play naturally.
Okay.
Okay. So
Aaron.
I don't feel like
There
this was. I don't feel like this was explained appropriately when I said yes to this.
I feel like we're gonna be really exposed, Patrick.
I know.
Remember to use your hints if you have some left.
Okay, so these are the rules, that there are 100 civics questions for the naturalization test, and applicants must answer randomly 10 questions. So you have to memorize all of these. So
Wait.
we're gonna try to speed round this. I'm gonna ask you 10 apiece because I
Oh,
want to see if you can be a citizen and if you can win the most knowledgeable award. And it's also fill in the blank. So there are sometimes several answers, but it's fill in the blank. There are 100 questions, so I'm just going to ask you to pick a number between 1 and 100, and that's the question I'm going to
okay.
ask you.
And it's about America, not Texas.
Correct. Don't
And-
give Texas any ideas that we need a citizenship test, please.
And so in real life, they have to get all 10 of these right. Like whatever 10 they get, they have to get them all right.
Oh,
I
wow.
don't think they have to get them all 6 out of 10.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
And I think you have one phone a friend and Aaron has 2 phone a friend.
Okay. And there's 10
Okay.
questions. Oh my god, I don't like those odds. Okay.
Okay, Patrick, a number between 1 and 100.
34.
Who vetoes bills?
The governor.
I'm sorry, we're talking about federal politics.
Oh, I'm sorry. The president.
Very good. Point for Patrick. Aaron.
34. No, I love this game already. 62.
62. Who wrote the Declaration of Independence?
I know, like two people who signed it.
You didn't listen to the cast album?
No.
No, he was
Okay.
busy watching Maze.
Was it Nicolas Cage? No, I'm just kidding.
You can phone a friend.
Samantha. Okay. Thank you for your honesty. I mean, I feel like that's a trick question. It was a collaborative effort. A whole bunch of old white guys. Right? No.
Will you accept that, Stephanie?
Hold on. I will. Give me a name. Yeah, there's a memorial. He has a memorial.
John Hancock?
He signed the biggest, but I believe it was Thomas Jefferson is what we were
Dang
looking
it.
for. Oh, see, Samantha did know. Look at her.
I don't know why you didn't phone her. She's right there.
She nodded no.
She nodded no.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Samantha, we need to break this down.
Have confidence, Samantha.
That's
I
right,
believe in you.
Samantha. That's right. Me and you. That's right. It's all
Okay,
part of our
Patrick.
strategy. Yes.
Give me another number, Patrick.
11.
Okay. It's making me scroll. Describe what freedom of religion means in your own words.
Wow.
Dang.
That everyone is free to practice or not practice any religion of their choosing without any government interference.
Look at Patrick taking the
theory.
lead here.
theory.
Synced.
Way to go. Way to go, Patrick. That's correct. Aaron.
Can I name religions?
Pick a number.
I'll go. I don't want you to scroll too far. I'll choose 15.
Okay, thank you.
So I should get a courtesy point.
Thank you. Who is in charge of the executive branch?
I know this one. El presidente. The drink from Chili's.
I'm sorry, in English only. Aaron. You're right.
That's a good
You're right.
joke.
Very
That's a
good.
joke.
That's authentic.
Yeah.
Okay, that's 2 questions apiece. Patrick, pick a number.
What was your last one?
15.
Okay, 94. No, 6. Okay, 94.
94. What is the capital of the United States?
Washington, D.C.
Killing it.
I believe it's
Man.
District
Aaron.
of Columbia. I'll do 52.
What do we show loyalty to when we say the Pledge of Allegiance?
Capitalism?
Correct.
That's
The
definitely
failed
a
state. The
bonus
failed
point.
state.
Blood, sweat, and tears, and picking yourself up by your bootstraps, darling. That's what I say now. That
Trucks
felt
and
gross.
dogs. Because I.
I pledge allegiance. Oh, like literally, I pledge allegiance to the United. Wait, dang.
Oh my gosh.
I've been out of school for a little bit. Give me a second.
I'm going to give him a 0.
I think he got it in his heart.
On your friend.
Samantha, can you help me with this one, please?
You pledge allegiance to the flag.
Oh, literally.
Literally.
That feels weird. I'm not gonna lie. I don't like that.
I would also have accepted the United States. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of
Now
America.
that is weird.
The whole thing, when you read it, is really weird.
I remember we had to do this, and I was a part of the generation that they introduced the Texas flag. And I remember they didn't know what to have us do, so we went from this to this because they told us you give your heart to Texas. And I was like, that's weirder. But then they just agreed on keeping it on your heart. So
Patrick, number.
71.
What territory did the United States buy from France in 1803?
Oh, I know this one.
It's a Louisiana Purchase.
Yes, I will accept that. Very good. Patrick,
Paris,
are you
Texas,
a history
actually.
teacher for a living?
No. When you're a
Are you
dad,
great?
you just somehow you know these things. Like I don't know how it happens to you. You just like there's stuff you just know in your head.
Aaron, I believe in you.
Give me 88.
88. Okay, this is about geography.
Oh no.
Name one of the 2 longest rivers in the United States.
See, I learned the rivers of Texas through song. So had you asked that, because there's many rivers in Texas, just to name a few. No, it's not Colorado. The mighty Mississippi.
Good job. Yes, the
There you go.
Mississippi and the Missouri.
Yeah. I
Okay, we
I only
might
remember
stop.
because on a road trip, my dad was like, "We're crossing the mighty Mississippi." He was very excited about that. So,
See, a dad. You learn that from your dad.
not a very bad thing.
You learn these types of trivia.
Yeah, he didn't even know how he knew that. He just like all of a sudden he just knew what that was.
As soon as I was born, he was gifted that knowledge.
And you have to share it. I don't know why. You're just like, you need to see this.
Okay, Patrick, a number, please.
40. That sounded high drama. 40. Okay.
It did. Dun dun dun. Ooh.
Oh, I don't like
Who
this.
is the Chief Justice of the United States right now?
John Roberts.
I don't
Is
know.
it?
It says I have to visit this other place.
It's
It's John Roberts.
Yeah,
Is
I think you're right.
Oh,
Samantha, do you know?
Yeah, I think it's John Roberts.
It's definitely John Roberts.
Because I read
Okay.
about him and get mad about all that ethics stuff. He's
I
not doing
know.
anything about.
No. Yeah.
Okay, you're right.
All right.
Man, we got some life goals here, Patrick. Aaron,
know.
number.
70. Because these get degrees.
Who was the first president?
George. I almost said George Bush. George Washington.
Okay, that's just 5 apiece. How does the energy? Should we keep going, or do we feel like we can?
Well, they're
call it
tied.
here?
They're tied.
Okay, then this is sudden death.
Oh,
You have to
shit.
get yours right. Okay,
All right.
back to Patrick.
Uh,
Dad is saying he cannot hear. I don't know. Hold on.
Uh-oh.
Pausing.
All right.
Pausing.
Name all the national parks
in order. In order.
from
From
founding date.
Prius to Lammas.
Exactly.
Okay. Don't worry. They're one of our top fans, so we have to make
I
sure
know.
that they can hear us. They're well. It
Stephanie,
doesn't even
Dad, how we
show that
doing?
they're watching. There's only one person on Twitch, and he just wants our business.
I'll give him the business.
Yeah, you will.
A very
Okay,
bad
I'm
thing to
just
say
gonna try
again.
turning it off.
I'm just living into all the stereotypes now. Just
Okay, Patrick, number.
50.
Okay. Name one right only for United States citizens.
Ooh,
You're in Texas, my man.
I know.
It's on at least 4 bumper stickers in any parking
I was
lot.
going to say the right to own a weapon.
I'm going to say it again. Name one right
Oh.
only United States citizen. So you have to be a citizen, like not have a
Oh.
green card or be a resident.
To vote.
Oh,
To vote. To
Yeah.
do something
Vote.
else other than vote. To
No, you're good. You're good. Vote in a federal election.
oh, okay. All right. This is all federal stuff though, right?
It is. I'm so it's really off brand. It's really off brand, and I'm sorry.
That's all right.
we should
did
make a
it.
Texas citizenship test.
I know.
should.
We
And
should.
it's just name all the Bluebell flavors.
Yeah.
Okay, so Patrick got it. Aaron, you have to get yours right. What number?
82.
Okay.
It was a good choice.
Thank
I
you.
think you should have picked one.
Just make her mad.
Price is
Oh.
right.
Okay. Before he was president, Eisenhower was a general. What war was he in?
It was a big one.
Yes.
Was it WW1? World War
Did you watch MASH?
No. Was it? I'm sorry. World War Duh.
English, Aaron, English. Yes, it was World War II.
But
And
I said
have to,
one.
I need Samantha to know I'm just being sarcastic.
I think we're silly enough that
Okay.
people are.
I don't know. I feel a little like I don't know about that, Stephanie. Okay, we're still in sudden death. Patrick,
man.
number.
One.
Actually, you've broken the tie
One.
though already. Okay.
1 is my number. For you, Amy. This is for you.
Yeah, I think it's a good.
What is the supreme law of the land?
Oh, okay. Maybe I was wrong.
I remember when I watched He-Man. It just came. I guess the Constitution, in theory.
Right.
In
Man.
theory.
Oh, I thought it was
Dad.
that we'll never use a kilometer.
Okay, Patrick has not missed any in game 2.
Man, my government teacher would be so happy. Really,
That's right.
They would not have seen
Dad,
this
it's not
coming.
fair.
Good chance they're watching right now.
Odds are, statistically, odds are.
Okay, Aaron,
Uh-huh.
number, please.
Give me 3.
The idea of self-government is in the first 3 words of the Constitution. What are these words?
We the people.
Yes.
I was literally about to say in the idea of self-government. I was just going to repeat what you said.
Okay, Patrick.
Oh man, the pressure's going up with everyone. Okay, 12. Uh-oh.
What is the rule of law? And I assume it's in the Constitution. There are 4 answers I can accept.
What is the rule of law? It's great. We should all have one. I don't understand. Okay, I'm saying, what is the rule of law?
You know, man, I don't want to give you too many clues. I know you got this.
Yeah,
What's something we always say about?
Are you a Texas Rangers fan? I don't know. Just kidding. I don't know. I'm gonna have to guess something. Oh, do I still have a phone a friend? I do.
Yeah.
I do still have one phone a
You
friend.
have one.
Oh, phew, okay. All right. Samantha, you're up.
I believe that one of the rules of law is equality or equally enforced.
I'll give
All
you
right.
that.
All right.
Everyone must follow the law. I was saying no one is above the law.
Oh.
Is that like written somewhere? Like, where does that come from? I mean, I get the saying, but like, is that from some document that I should be aware of? Or
I
Does
think
it
it's
say?
in the Constitution because
Okay.
it's probably, we hold
Okay.
these truths.
all right.
They didn't
All
show it in National Treasure, so it makes sense. It's
right.
talked about more.
Okay, Aaron.
All right. Thanks, Samantha. You bailed me out.
Last one, Aaron.
Give it. We'll do 22.
We elect a U.S. representative for how many years?
I don't know, but they should be kept. Is it 2? 2?
Yes.
Right?
Okay. Yes. But we're supposed to be in sudden death, but I think we're done.
Okay.
Sorry, because
All right.
I want to get to Samantha's interview. So where are we, Amy?
Okay. It looks like Patrick missed 2 and Aaron missed 3. So Patrick is the most knowledgeable comedian in Austin.
Oh,
But-
yay.
Congratulations.
We're
Very
both-
close. Super
we
close.
both would have passed.
We would have.
You both would have passed.
I
Yeah.
think we
All
would
right.
have. Yes. Dad for
You
the
have
win,
to
though,
share
Patrick.
your trophy with me because you phoned me twice.
That's right.
I would like to thank Samantha for this, and my parents, and my agent.
Government teacher.
Government teacher.
Being a dad.
Being a dad. Mystery knowledge you get.
All right. Now is finally the right time to talk in depth with Samantha Singelton of the Border Network for Human Rights. Welcome to the show, Samantha.
Thank
Yay.
you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for being here and, of course, sticking through the shenanigans of our show to
Of
talk
course,
about
that
the
was fun.
shenanigans of the Texas legislature. Will you tell us just a little bit about your organization? And I'm going to reiterate that I noticed you were registered in opposition to Senate Bill 4, which is the smuggling bill, right?
Mhm. That's correct.
Okay,
So,
so
yeah, no, let me know whenever you're ready.
nope, I'm ready. And the more you talk, the better. No one wants to hear my voice.
Gotcha. Well, thank you so much for having me on. And so I am the policy director at the Border Network for Human Rights. This year is our 25th year being around. So we're having a huge anniversary celebration later this month for being founded 25 years ago. It is one of the leading immigration reform and civil and human rights organizations. Our biggest goal is to educate community members, educate politicians, elected officials, and just overall individuals about policy on the local, the state, and the national level. And so I was in Austin a week or so ago in opposition of SB4. SB4 is the smuggling bill. It increases penalties for smuggling and for stash houses. And what's interesting is Stephanie said she read my speech that I gave, and my speech was more of it was a parable from the Bible. I talked about the Good Samaritan, and I talked about how the moral of the story was no matter how many laws you put in place, there's always going to be individuals that are going to be Good Samaritans, and stop increasing the penalties for Good Samaritans. What do I mean by that? The bill enhances criminalization. It enhances the penalties of potentially 15 years or 10 years or 5 years if you work with law enforcement. And smuggling means that you intend to hide an individual or individuals from law enforcement. So someone asking for a ride to church or someone asking for a ride to the store, you're not asking them, what is your status? Are you a US citizen? And if a police officer pulls you over and they decide that they want to inquire about the individuals that are in the car and ask them if they have papers to be here and they can't provide that, you're automatically charged with a smuggling charge. So the penalty doesn't match up to the crime. If the intent is to hide or to remove, to ensure that no one sees and they're in the wide open, then that's not smuggling. Uber drivers are at stake. I have tons of friends who are Uber drivers. They don't ask individuals, do you have paperwork? Do we ask people, are they criminals when you pick them up in the taxi? You don't say, well, are you a serial killer? Because I don't want to drop you off. You don't ask, do you plan on going to domestically violence the individual? We don't ask those questions. So why are you asking Good Samaritans? Why are you asking faith-based communities? Why are you asking NGOs to ask those questions? Instead, what Texas legislation should be doing is creating welcoming infrastructures. These bills are not going to stop people from seeking asylum. It's not going to stop individuals from coming over, and it's not going to stop people from helping. So why are you penalizing individuals for assisting and aiding and guiding in humanitarian aids? I thought that's what the United States was all about: liberty and justice for all. And it just seemed that some of the anti-hate bills that is being placed in the Texas legislation shows where some of these legislators' humanity really is.
Mm.
I think it's very poignant. I also heard in the testimony that a lot of people right now, like 13%, are children who are like Uber drivers who are driving people, and that I'm not going to make a clear statement there. Is that accurate? That
I'm
there are a
not
lot of
sure. I'm not sure if it's a if that's the percentage or not. But there are several individuals who are Uber drivers, and so it's easy to fall under that penalty by picking someone up. And you know, the state of the nation, not just Texas, and I know that we're focusing on that, but the state of the nation has talked about the distrust within law enforcement. And so this just enhances the distrust in law enforcement, and it allows law enforcement officers to enhance their authority. And there's so many that abuse their authority naturally. Now giving them more power, they're going to increase their their abuse of authority. It could easily increase racial profiling. It could easily increase deaths. And that's something that we should want to stop. Those are things that we shouldn't want to happen.
It seems like when people come here without papers, it's really a trespassing violation. But for some reason, the legislature feels like trespassing is the absolute worst thing anybody can do, and that they should lose their rights to everything else, like healthcare or being able to call the police or get a job. Why do you think we don't ask a domestic violence perpetrator, we don't take away his job when he violates? Why is there so much poison against this one violation for these people? What do you think?
I think that a lot of legislators have their own personal agendas, and they're trying to advance careers. And some of them just have plain old hatred in their heart. They've just been taught to hate, that they are superior over other individuals. And we have to look at the history of the United States. You know, the history of the United States is individuals came over here and took something that didn't belong to them. And now, instead of allowing individuals to come and seek asylum because they're in terrible situations, they're saying, we don't have to. We don't want to, and we're not going to. And so, has anyone ever, the legislators have to understand, have they ever trespassed anywhere? I'm sure that they have. And who arrested them? And as I sat in several of these committees, I listened to them talk about, oh, I went about it the right way. What I did was I ensured that who I employed had proper documentation. No, you did not, because you knew too much about individuals not having the proper documentation. You know, you blamed your colleagues and you said, you know, I knew individuals who did it. You did it as well. But you don't want to be accountable for your actions, but you want to hold someone else accountable for theirs. It's kind of like siblings who they did it. So I'm going to go tell on you because you got me in trouble the last time. So now I want you to get in trouble.
I think the news also paints a much more dire and violent picture of what's happening on the border than is actually there. What is it like on the ground in El Paso right now in regards to immigrants and taking care of them?
You know, crime has not increased because there has been a migrant surge in El Paso. The crime rate has stayed the same, or if it has increased, it has not been because of migrants. What happens a lot of time is one individual does something that is wrong, and they blow it out of proportion. They highlight it to make it look like it's tons of individuals. One person can commit a crime, and now every migrant is being penalized for one individual committing a crime. There is not an invasion in the city of El Paso. I'm here every day. No one is jumping over into my backyard. No one is looking through my windows trying to get in. And the stuff that the media has shown, where you see individuals on one side of the border, which is the Juarez side, bless you, and
Thank
then
you.
you see Texas state troopers on the El Paso side of the border. What they're not telling you is that on social media, there was several messages and wording going around saying on this day, the United States is opening up the border so individuals can come in. So they believe what's being told to them, and then they're ready to come in just to be told this is not true. So someone is starting this rumor, and instead of trying to put a stop to the rumors, it's easier to just penalize migrants and say they don't have the right to be here. They absolutely have the right to be here when they're seeking asylum. They absolutely have the right to be here when they're seeking refuge. What should not be happening is Texas state troopers should not be ordered to push individuals deeper into water. What should not be happening is individuals being ordered to not give migrants, men, women, and children water in 115-degree weather. El Paso went through a 30-plus day heat wave. We broke records this year. It was hard for individuals who go to work every day to stay cool. Can you imagine individuals seeking asylum? They're trying to stay cool, but someone has ordered them to not give them water. That's inhumane. It doesn't matter how you slice it or dice it. It's inhumane. Who would not give a human being water? We give animals water, but not a human being. So you're saying that a cat or a dog is more important than a human life. That's erroneous thinking.
That's a tough image to think about. What do you or your organization's position? What is it on both improving border security? Because of course, all these bills are framed as border security, even when they will not increase security at the border, and then also addressing the humanitarian crisis. What do you wish we were doing as a legislature and just as good Samaritans?
We've talked a lot about having good intentions does not make a bill good. So your intent, because they framed a lot of it around, we're trying to stop the Mexican cartel. And so no one wants anyone to be kidnapped and to be smuggled and to be mistreated. What we are saying is you are going to penalize a Uber driver, or you're going to penalize a faith-based organization or a non-governmental organization aiding in food or water because you think that you're stopping individuals from coming in. That just doesn't make a lot of sense. What we need here is welcoming infrastructures, and both in legislators on both sides of the track. And I stated this in one of the other speeches that I gave on a different bill. You all were voted in your position for a reason, because you told your constituents that you were going to do right by them, by your county, but most importantly, by the state of Texas. And it's time for you to use your collective minds to do just that and leave your personal agendas out of the picture. Quit looking at the glass as half full or half empty, and just look at it as that's the halfway point. And how do we go beyond this halfway point? Let's meet people where they are, and let's capitalize off of that. For individuals who have ever been married or are married, most marriages don't work out because there's not a lot of compromise. There's a lot of issues and concern because there isn't compromise. And it's because two people are saying, I'm going to do it my way. And so then nobody gets anything done. That's what's happening on the legislation. They have a broken marriage and they're not willing to compromise. Everybody wants it their way. Well, I'm sorry, you're not Burger King. You just can't have it your way. It's time to collectively come together as human beings and put Texas back together in a humane way. Start offering welcoming infrastructures. And if Texas does it right, then you can go to the federal government. But what I heard from legislators is it's the federal government's issue. They're not doing anything. Why aren't you talking to them? We do talk to the federal government. There's so many individuals that are talking to the federal government about this same thing. But you can't just keep passing the buck. If you can do something about it, then do something about it. If I come to you and I say, I need a Band-Aid, and you have a Band-Aid, and you say, well, you know what? Go next door and see if they have one. Why would you not help me? Why would you continue to let me bleed out until I find someone who has a Band-Aid? It doesn't make sense. Let's just use common sense.
How do you think people of faith reconcile, especially legislators who claim to be religious people? How are they reconciling what their religion tells them about taking care of refugees and what they're doing as legislators in policy?
What I've learned about individuals who talk about religion, they take something that they can use and they capitalize off of it. They take one specific scripture that they think pertains to that situation and they run it into the ground. Being the daughter of a pastor, being the mother of a pastor, and being a pastor myself.
Oh my goodness, I walked into that.
You cannot take a scripture and use it for your benefit and not for anybody else's benefit. And that is what a lot of them do. And that is one of the reasons why I use the parable of the Good Samaritan in my speech, because so many of them talk about, I am a Christian and I live with Christ-like values. And my question, what I want to say to them is, do you think that Christ would be happy with what you are doing? If you could stand before him today, would he be happy with what you are doing? Or would he tell you something different? So let's stop using Christ-like behavior when you have more like Lucifer behavior in your actions.
If I can interject real quick, I did have a professor in college who advised all of us in a debate class to read the Bible, whatever religion you were, because if you wanted to go into politics, it was going to be used often. And and he told us whatever argument somebody would use with the Bible would answer itself also in the Bible. So he really echoed on that. And you hit it right on the head, Samantha. Beautifully said.
Thank you. Yeah.
What are faith-based entities in the community of El Paso doing to try to be more humane to the migrants?
They're helping as much as they possibly can. They are calling on the federal government to do more, but they're doing everything they can. They're providing shelter in whatever possible way they can. They're providing food to individuals. And so faith-based communities are going to continue to do that. I don't believe you'll ever stop a true faith-based community or organizations from doing what they truly believe God has called them to do. And helping people is one thing that most faith-based communities believe that God has called them to do, is help folks. And you don't ask people, what is your immigration status? You don't ask people at the door when they say, we come in to worship with you. Well, do you have the proper paperwork? Because we're only allowing certain individuals to come in. Well, then if that's the case, then no one can come to worship with you, because no one is perfect. We all strive for perfection, but no one is perfect. Everyone that walks through those doors has shortcomings. And if you're not going to look at your shortcoming, and the only shortcoming you're going to look at is the individual who is undocumented, then you need to remove yourself from the church immediately.
Are you comfortable talking about what happened to your son? I only knew this through your bio.
Yeah, yes, definitely. That's kind of how I got started with BNHR. I have 3 boys. One is 5, one is 11, and one is now 23. But at the time, he was 18 years old, and he was driving. At the time, my 1-year-old and 7-year-old. I have to remember how many years apart all these guys are. Home, and he was going through a barricade, and because there was an accident. And in going through that barricade, an officer told him, "You needed to go this," and he used some foul language in the statement he was making to my son. So my son asked for his badge number. He asked my son to pull over. So my son pulled over. He said that he was going to cite him for driving through a barricade. And what I learned later is I don't know the correct terminology, but there's something where officers will provoke. They'll say things to provoke the individual that they're speaking to say or do something, so they'll have a reason to respond. And so I was told that this officer was probably doing that with my son. He just continued to say things so my son would have a response. And then ultimately, they told my son that they were going to arrest him because he was not going to sign a citation. And my son said that that's not true. He said he was going to sign it. And then my son said he asked, you need to call my mom because she needs to come get her boys. These are her children in the back. And so they continued with the, we're not going to call your mom. We're not going to call your parents. We're going to call CPS. We're going to let CPS take them. And they asked him to turn around. They said they were going to arrest him. According to my son, he turned around and he said the officer slammed him. And so it was 2 officers that ultimately brutalized him. When I got the call, I was called by the officers asking to, telling me I could come pick up my boys, that my son was being arrested, and which was very shocking to me. Why is he being arrested? What happened? That was not his demeanor. And so I heard a completely different story from the officers that I heard from my son. He had bruises on him. He had cuts on him. And so being a mom, of course, I was angry, because if it started from what's your badge number, how do we get to excessive use of force? How do we get to brutality? Some individuals told me, well, maybe the officer was having a bad day. So my thought process is, I have bad days all the time. Does it give me the right to go around and hit people just because I have a bad day? That's not an excuse. And so ultimately, time passed where no disciplinary action could take place because internal affairs did not return phone calls. So I wanted to become involved in the community in some way, shape, or form to stop some of this. So I coordinate our campaign of the Police Accountability Task Force, just calling on more accountability and more transparency and ultimately oversight within the police department here in El Paso.
I'm sorry y'all went through that,
Thank you.
It's tragic.
but I'm glad. I'm sure he's glad he has a mom like you.
Yes.
And is he the pastor now? I guess so, because the other kid is young.
Yes, he is.
Okay.
He is. He is the pastor. And people talk about folks being criminals and, well, they have a criminal history and they have this and that. And what I want to say about my son is, not only did he hold a really high GPA in high school, he was the minister for the affected by his teachers and his peers in high school. He went on to Azusa Pacific University, which is a Christian university located in Azusa, California. And he was one of 850 students to double major, and he did it all by accident. So
Wow.
He's not what you would consider or call the common criminal. So he was always a troublemaker. That's just not his mentality or his demeanor. And today he's a senior pastor of his own church.
That's wonderful. What else besides Senate Bill 4 and immigration does your organization focus on?
We focus on community IDs. So the city of El Paso just passed unanimously through city council last Tuesday. A community ID in the state of Texas, they're called enhanced library cards. And so the city of El Paso will be getting that as well. And incorporated in this enhanced library card it will give an individual, regardless of who they are, all El Paso County residents, gives them the ability to have proper photo identification, to open up a checking and or savings account. There's a bank on board, to pick up children from school. Family relies on other individuals to pick their children up from school. Sometimes I know I do. It will allow them to identify themselves to law enforcement, which was huge for us. And then it will allow them to get utilities. And so this was a campaign that BNHR worked on for almost 9 years. It was turned down or voted down in 2017, but through hard work and determination and not giving up, we continued the work and it passed last week. So
Oh,
really
wow.
excited about it.
Congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
awesome.
That's great.
Yeah. So we focus on, the things that the community believe is important on the local, the state, and the national level.
Let's end with what is something you would like people to do so they can be the best kind of ally to your organization?
It's important for people to register to vote. It's important for people to vote. It's important to get involved in what you don't like that's happening in your community. Find a local organization that you can connect yourself with. In El Paso, BNHR is one of many organizations that you can connect with, but connect yourself with like-minded people to combat against the anti-hate bills that will be placed. This is not the first legislation that they've been placed on, and it won't be the last. And so just be prepared to rally and combat against anti-hate rhetoric, whether it's locally, whether it's in the state of Texas, or whether it's on the national level.
Thank you very much, Samantha. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for
so
having
much.
me. Thank you.
Anybody have a question before we exit?
I don't got a question, but as a product of immigration myself, I know my family felt a lot safer knowing that there were people like you. So I'm a little emotional, don't want to ask questions, but truly, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Of course, thank you.
Yeah. And Patrick's just gloating because he won most knowledgeable comedian.
Yeah, I can't move past that. I'm sorry. I'm just,
I understand. It's
The
a
past
big
30
win.
minutes have been a
The
blur.
I
victory.
was just changing my LinkedIn profile over here.
Well, Samantha, again, thank you so much that I cold called and you responded, and I really, really appreciate it. I'm glad we get to introduce you to our followers.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Got it.
Thank you.
Bye, y'all.
Stephanie, you were right. You called it. You said, this is going to be one of our best shows. And it's true. Thank you so much to our special guest, Samantha Singelton, and to our comedic guest, Aaron Salinas, and our champion, Patrick Gallagher. Where can people find you next? Samantha, are you going to be speaking somewhere? Are you going to be here?
I won't be there yet, but we are planning what we are calling a state of Texas tour based on a lot of the Texas Lege that has passed or probably will pass. So just kind of stay tuned. We'll be announcing some things that we'll be preparing to do at the beginning of next year, and we plan on stopping in several different cities, and we hope that we can connect with you guys if you are in the city that we stop in.
You
Wow,
bet.
that's great. And Aaron and Patrick, are you guys going to be performing anytime soon somewhere?
Got a show at Hideout coming out in December. I'll give more details as that comes out, but yeah.
Great.
I think my next one, December 8th in San Antonio, there's a last comic standing thing or something like that.
Oh, nice.
That's not a very good marketing bit when I don't even know. There's something I'm doing. I don't know.
There's a show with a mic.
Yeah, there's a thing.
Yeah.
There's a
If you
wall
know, you
that's
know.
made
If
of
you know, you know.
All right. Thank you to our Over the Ledge gracious Empress, Stephanie Chiarello.
Thank you, Amy Lowry, for guiding us through this episode. And just remember, she's glad you're here.
I am. And that's our show. If you like what you heard, please subscribe to our podcast wherever you get yours. Like us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and now TikTok as @OverTheLedge. Bye.
Bye.
We're
We're ending
over the
the
ledge.